Hi and welcome to the first episode of Richer in Crypto. My name is Rogier and today I'm going to take a look at Bitcoin, VeChain and Solana and also the Bitcoin dominance chart. And I want to start off with the chart of Bitcoin on the daily. And you can say that Bitcoin on the daily chart, it has been moving sideways for the past 330 days or so. And yes, Bitcoin has also found support on this upsloping trend line, which is important. And now today it sits at $46,000. There's been a retest yesterday, which was very exciting if Bitcoin would fall below the 45,000 US dollars or not, but it didn't. And one thing to notice though on the daily chart is that on the relative strength index, there's an uptrend on the RSI, which is a bullish sign. So my expectation and what I'm still looking out for is that Bitcoin, it might do another retest on the lowest trend upsloping trend line. That means that if it does retest in a couple of days, it will still be higher than $46,000, but the way might be up again. But still very important to also look out for is that the price level of 52,000 is the one that I have my eagle eyes set on, because anything between $52,000 and $45,000, 45,500 is sideways movement. So either way, if it goes up to the 52,000 band again and it breaks through and it gets support here and it flips bullish, and also of course the bull market support band that you can see here on the daily is also, that one is at 53,000 US dollars at the moment. So that's the level that we really would like to see Bitcoin getting above, because if we go back in time, it's been full-blown bull market when it's been above the bull market support band and it's been bearish below. And at the moment, Bitcoin is below. So we can say that the trend is a little bit more bearish at the moment, and that's why the whole crypto space is having a hard time. But if we take a look at the dominance chart, and the Bitcoin dominance chart, what we're looking at the weekly at the moment, is very interesting. What does the Bitcoin dominance chart mean? It means the total market capitalization of the whole crypto space, how much of that percentage goes to Bitcoin. And the lower the percentage is, the more of the total market capitalization goes to all the other coins. So the lower the dominance of Bitcoin, it means that even, let's say that Bitcoin goes to 30% dominance, it means that if Bitcoin decides to make a move, it will have less impact on all the other altcoins. We can also say that when Bitcoin is as low as it is at the moment, and maybe it will go sideways from here, Bitcoin, or maybe just incline a little bit, that's very good for altcoins. That means alt season might be bound to start. So it's very interesting to look out for, and I'll keep this Bitcoin dominance chart also on this channel, because what I would like to see, of course, if Bitcoin is going to start making a move, the dominance will go up a little bit, depending on how big the move is. But if Bitcoin stays below the 41%, or maybe even between 41% or 38%, that might be very interesting for altcoins. And that means any altcoin you can imagine, they might be booming in the next couple of weeks. That would be interesting to watch. So for the Bitcoin dominance chart at the moment, 39.55%, which is extremely low. The all-time low was 35%, and that was in January 2018. It was the end of the last bull cycle. And so I'm really thrilled to see what's going to happen here and what's going to be the impact on the altcoins. So let's take a look at two other altcoins. I'm going to take a look at VeChain and Solana. If you have any suggestions for the next video, which altcoin or which coin you would like me to take a look at, please drop it down below in the comments. So here we're taking a look at VeChain at the daily. And VeChain at the daily has a similar look as we also see for Cardano, for ADA. There's been an intense run, the run from November 2020 to like February 2021. It went up like 3,000%. And then from the top to where we are now, there has been a correction of 68%, but the bottom of the correction was even a 79% drop. So for the current price level for VeChain to go back to all-time high, it needs a pump of 212%. And important here to notice also is that the relative strength index has a slight incline, but we need to take a look at a macro level and see on the bigger time frame what VeChain will do. So what I'm looking for is that VeChain would need to retest this level. It's been 61, it's pretty high. Depending on how large a time frame you take, the larger the time frame, the larger the move might be. So for me, in this symmetrical triangle that you can also see here in this picture, I'm really looking forward to VeChain touching the 15.5 US dollars cents and then see what it does. Maybe it will get a rejection and take a retest before it goes higher again. And then there's another trend line I'll be watching, which is depending on the time, but let's say we take a look at April 1st. The trend line will be around 23 cents, so that's pretty close to the all-time high. And if we draw a line, horizontal line on the all-time high, you can see it's very interesting once it gets above that. But if it doesn't and it gets lower, I want to show you the volume profile for VeChain, and I'll make this screen a bit larger. What's interesting is that previous volume where people purchased VeChain, you can see that we are now in a big zone of support for VeChain. So in the past times, there's been a lot of volume on this price level, so there's not a lot of price action. So that means there's also a lot of support in this area. But if VeChain goes lower and breaks this upsloping trend line, you can see that the volume will decline. And that means that there's a big hole, and that means that also it's possible to have a big drop. I'm not expecting VeChain to do so on the next couple of months. My expectation, I'm still bullish for the whole crypto space. If we take a look at how crypto is evolving, how crypto is in the adoption process, and of course the current economy, it's complex with the COVID crisis. So a lot of things are bound to happen in the next couple of months. So probably in the next 3 months, there will be much more information to see which direction, what the full potential of crypto is in the year 2022. But I'll stay optimistic, but of course you have to keep in mind that there is a risk and there's a chance that the price can drop. So for VeChain, things are looking pretty okay. If we take a look at the MACD, the moving average convergence divergence on the daily, you can see that it's been bullish since December 17th. The relative strength index, if we enlarge that for VeChain, also the relative strength index for VeChain at the moment is 45, and of course in the bull market 45 is still low. So it means it's not overbought, it might still be oversold. There's so much potential also for VeChain here. So finally, let's take a look at Solana. If I take a look at Solana on the daily, you can see, you can draw a descending broadening wedge. And you can also see that Solana here is fighting to stay above the Bitcoin bull market support band, or in this case for Solana, of course, but it's a little bit below it. It's only a couple of percentages for Solana to get above it. It's like 3.5%. So that might be a job being done by Solana this week. And it would be very nice to see Solana being back above the 21 exponential moving average and the 20 simple moving average. And then my first target would be, if that happens, we would need to take a look at the Fibonacci retracement to see at the 0.5 level. Always a very powerful way to take a look at trend changes, and the 0.5 is at around $204. So if we take a look, we can see that there's been a test on the 0.5 Fibonacci retracement on the $204, but there was a rejection. So that means that the trend reversal has not been confirmed yet. So first, I want to see Solana above the bull market support band again, which is around 176 US dollars. And then it needs to retest around 204 US dollars, but needs to get support. So it needs to break through, get support, and get to the upper line, this descending trend line that we are drawing here. And then it needs to break to reach newer all-time highs. So that's to look out for Solana. And of course, if that doesn't happen and we get rejected even further, the trend, as you can see, is downwards. So this means that if we get another rejection here, and we maybe will set even a lower high, you can see we have a high, a lower high, and if we even set another lower high, then of course the trend will remain bearish and Solana will fall further below the bull market support band. But what we'd like to see, we can see a low here, we have a higher low, and it would be nice if we can see a higher high than this one. So we can reverse the trend into a bullish mode, and that of course will be very interesting for Solana. And there's a couple of things that are needed for that to happen. It's not just Solana. Of course, Solana also responds to the Bitcoin dominance, and we need to see what Bitcoin is going to do, because Bitcoin is still king in this market. Even though it's 40% dominance, it's still 40% of all those thousands and thousands of tokens out there. Solana is still a great project. So I'm still following that one. So let's keep an eye on this one. So finishing this first video, I want to go back to Bitcoin on the weekly chart, and we can see that Bitcoin has started the week in red, which means lower levels than last week, but still you can say still sideways movement. What would be really, really great is that if Bitcoin this week could hold the 45.5 thousand US dollars and stay above even this line, above the $46,000, and then it's fine for Bitcoin to move sideways for some time. It's no big deal, because also in the period from May until July, which was a pretty long period, we had like 63 days. So let's see, from the drop, if we measure 63 days, then we would end at the 31st of January. So we could see Bitcoin maybe moving sideways with a little bit still of a downtrend. And then at the end of January, perhaps Bitcoin will make a move and will go back above $52,000. And that would be great. So it would be great if the COVID crisis would decrease, if we can see all the logistics and also China getting back into the full pumping economy again, and that means that will still be very interesting for the economy and the growth, and that will also be positive for the whole crypto space. So that's something to look out for. The end of January, if the movements will still be sideways for the next couple of weeks, my expectation is that it will be moving sideways, maybe even a retest lower, as long as it does not break through the $41,000. Because if it does, then we will go back and repeat history, probably like we did in May, and we might drop to $30,000, and that will mean a very long way back for Bitcoin to break the last all-time high, which is $69,000. So this is the end of episode number 1. Please don't forget to subscribe and leave a thumbs up if you like this video. If you have any suggestions, please leave a comment down below, and I'll see you in the next video, and have a great day. Bye.